In 20 minutes a day, I was able to make more income than I've ever made at any full-time job where I was working 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Job money isn't just different from every other kind of income, it's just flat out inferior. Every other income type that's available for every one of us to make is far superior over job money. So 20 minutes a day versus 8 or 9 hours a day. That means I had to work 7 hours and 40 minutes less and to make more money than when I was working 7 hours and 40 minutes more. So, what would your life look like if that kind of time opened up for you to be able to have the freedom to put your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and your heart where it needed to be, where you wanted it to be, whenever you needed to, without having to check on a gatekeeper to ask permission like a boss or a banker and so forth? How would your life be different? The true rich people of the world, they don't measure their wealth by their money, they measure it by their time. And it's the enlightened people that are able to connect the dots between being financially free and having freedom of time. Job money, that inferior type of income that most people depend on for their family's survival, how crazy is that? But that job money that people do depend on for their survival and the nourishment of their family, it's the most inferior and it's not possible to get ahead. People that get high paid salaries and high paid wages, they're not any richer than minimum wage people. In fact, they're more poor, in my opinion, because they're just bigger slaves to the dollar than people making minimum wage. That's a different perspective, isn't it? One you're not used to hearing. And they don't teach any other type of income in our public school system except how to be an obedient worker. The curriculum of our public school system has been set for over 100 years by the big business elite, especially the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and the big banking systems like that. So it's on purpose that they don't teach any other kind of income. You are taught in school to be an obedient worker who does not question that status quo. And that's the reality of the situation. I don't expect that to change anytime soon. However, you're a free-thinking human being living in a country where you still have this freedom to think outside of the box and look outside of the box for a better way, a more superior type of income, so that you can be among the true rich who measures their freedom by their time and not their stupid money. The income type makes all the difference in the world, not so much the size of your income, but the income type that you make. And what are most people looking at? The size of their income. That's stupid. Look at the type of income that you're making. Are you enslaved to it? Or are you free and entirely detached from it? The only income type that allows you to be detached from money is residual and passive. 20 minutes a day it took me. It took me 2.5 years to do it, but because it was building residually, I could do it in my spare time without it interfering with anything else I had going on in my busy life. If I had to wake up 10 minutes early, go to bed 10 minutes late to get 20 minutes or more in a day to focus on building that residual income type, so be it. I did it. It took 2.5 years. And 2.5 years is the speed of light to retire richer than you were when you were working compared to the 40-year plan to work hard for 40 years, retire poorer than when you were working for those 40 years. That sounds like a pyramid scheme to me. I'd much rather take the 2.5 year option to retire richer than I was when I was working than to work hard for 40 years to retire poorer than I was when I was working. The best way to rip yourself off is to depend and keep on depending for job money for your survival and the nourishment of your family. That's the best way to steal time and wealth, because real wealth is your time. That's all you have is your time. And with job money, you literally have to sell your time for money, and you have to keep doing it, because if you stop, the income stops and you risk putting your family on the street starving to death. That's the hamster wheel that everybody knows about, the perpetual hamster wheel of running hard on that wheel but not ever getting ahead, because if you stop, the wheel stops and you stop getting paid. Passive and residual allows a person to be able to completely detach how they spend their time from their income, so that I can do anything I want. I can be with my mother who's recovering from foot surgery, which I am, and I can be with my adoptive family who I just found a few years ago, which I do that too. I fly out there. I can be wherever I need to be. I get a tough phone call, I need to be somewhere. I can drop what I'm doing. I'm covered financially. I can go to sleep. I can go awake. I can go on vacation. I can work. I can do whatever, and I'm covered financially. Freedom. When you sell your time for money, which you have to at a job, it's the nature of the beast. When you sell your time for money, you're also selling your body, and you're selling your spirit and your soul for a paycheck, which is exactly what select few people in the business elite want out of an obedient worker. And that's crazy. And it takes some real contrarian thinking and no longer doing what you've been programmed to do by society your whole life. Step outside of that box. It's worth it. So where else can you go? Spend 20 minutes a day, half hour a day, whatever hour a day, and accumulate more income than you could at some place where you have to work 8, 9, 10, for some of you 16 or 20 hours a day. And you can't stop. You can't ever get away from it. You have no time. You're constantly tossed around like a rag doll by your circumstances. And you can break out of that. And in my opinion, knowing what I know about creating residual money, if you don't have time to create it, then you do not have time not to create it. Because if you don't make the 10, 20, 30 minutes a day to create a residual income, then you will live and die an obedient worker, just like some people want you to, the rest of your life. And that's no fun. So if you want to pass this message along to more people, just to get people to open up their thinking and expand beyond this mediocre programming that is all around our culture and politics and the media, to help people open their minds and start unlocking things in their head to look for a better way, then feel free to share this, pass this on. And I've also got a website. Of course I do. It's a .xyz website as opposed to a .com. It's Fire Your Boss. Great title, right? FireYourBoss.xyz, not .com. Force of habit, I know, but .xyz. FireYourBoss.xyz. Thousands of pieces of content. I work for free, and you know what? I'm financially covered anyway because I don't work for money anymore. Don't have a job anymore. It's all residual passive income. I'm covered. I can work for free and create content for free as long as I want, and I will. And I can be with my mother, and I can be with my adoptive family and my birth family, and I can take a vacation and see friends, and I can do whatever the flip I want because I'm not selling my mind, my body, my spirit, my time for a paycheck anymore. That's such a dumb way to live. But most of you don't know any better. Now I just planted this new seed, so there's no more excuses if you want to find a better way so you can emotionally and physically and mentally be where you need to be when you get those tough phone calls without having to check on somebody else to make sure you can do it. Well, now I've planted that seed. You can start digging around, asking questions, questioning the status quo, and making new discoveries that you can implement to radically start changing your life. It's a process and it's worthwhile. It took me 2.5 years. Maybe it'll take you 1 year. Maybe it'll take you 5 years. However long it takes, that time's going to pass by anyway, and it's worth it to come out the other side a free person and to be covered. Absolutely. FireYourBoss.xyz and pass this along if you know somebody who would enjoy having their brain expanded. Bye for now. Next video coming soon.